It's a make or miss league.
Make, miss.
It's a make or miss league, baby.
How do we get him to do that?
I see my man Stan Verrett getting those checks. Make ankle breakers. Trae Young had a 50-piece last night, including this crossover that got Iggy off balance and then burying the three. Matt, what's more impressive from Trae, the handles or the range?
I think it's the combination of both, because guys can handle, guys can shoot, but to be able to do both, there's a handful of guys in the league that can do it, and he's one of them.
Yeah, if he's got the range, you got to come way up on him, right? And then he's got the handles to get by you and to create all the space.
Bad situation.
Next, miss humility. Rockets Warriors, Daniel House will hit the three here. Then check this out. He looks over at the Warriors bench and then gets teed up. Matt, did he deserve a tech there?
Ridiculous. The ref needs to be fined.
Boy, I'm stunned that you would take that. You would take a trash talker's side there, Matt. You know, this game was hot from the start.
Yeah.
There was obviously ejections going on. The referees were trying to hold control, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gets rescinded.
Yeah, that seems a little bit over the top, but hey, everyone makes mistakes.
Nick Bucher to call a tech on you now, that ref, so don't mess with Nick.
Yeah. Next, make brands. Here's Kawhi in Cabo.
Classic.
Wearing his own jersey.
Classic.
Brian, are you a fan of the flex?
I'm surprised he wasn't wearing the New Balance gear.
Classic.
Oh.
Classic. Kawhi probably be the only superstar that can get away with that, because it's just Kawhi. Like, if LeBron did it, we'd be killing him. If someone else did it, we'd be killing him. But it's cool with Kawhi.
This is called brand development.
Yeah. Ron Artest did that. Meta World Peace did it when they won the championship. It was all around LA all night after celebrating winning a championship with his jersey on. Miss responsibility. Back to San Francisco. Warriors come up with the steal and the slam here. You'll check it out. But look at the guy mopping the floor, narrowly escaping the collision. Wow. Brian, do you admire his dedication to mopping?
I admire the defense of the Rocket here, who just stood there and watched him go. So, Jeff Green. That was Jeff Green.
Yeah.
Really getting into the spirit.
I'm surprised this doesn't happen more, because the ball guys are on it. You know, they got to get the wet spots up, and the game changes direction so quickly. I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often.
Next one.
It's his nightmare, though.
Yeah, that kid was terrified. There's no question. Make misdirection. Net Sixers, Philly out and running. Check out this sweet Euro step from Embiid.
It looks even better because he's got the neon shoes on.
Yeah. Matt, how impressive is this for a 7-footer?
Incredible. Like I said, he is one of the best players in the world when he's playing. Jesus.
That's going to be in Joel's. That's going to be in Joel's Twitter feed in a matter of moments.
That's tough.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, time to run it back with the best Euro steps ever.
Oh.
Number 3, Russ on MCW back in 2017. Ooh, hello, he froze him right there. That's nice. That's nice. Oh, youngster, come on now. Number 2, we've got Giannis in OKC. Little revenge. This is back in 2016. Hello, with the left hand.
Strong finish.
Yeah.
No reaction. No reaction, like he does this every time.
Right.
Nothing you can do about that.
No doubt.
And one on that play?
About that.
Yeah.
And number 1, D-Wade on KG in the playoffs in 2011. Windhorse, you and I were there.
Wait a minute. That was the Hezzy into the Euro
Turn
step.
him around. You know who we forgot too was Ginobili. Ginobili has some classic.
Ginobili does, for sure.
The early Ginobili
That's
was
2
Euro
days
and
in a
dunk
row
on
we've shown KG getting shown up here. We are pressing our luck. I just want you to know.
All right, welcome back to The Jump. Brooklyn's injury concerns went from bad to worse yesterday. Sean Marks spoke to the media in Philadelphia and announced that Kyrie will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery. Kyrie's put up 27 points a night, but has appeared in just 20 of Brooklyn's 54 games. So, Matt, how should the Nets treat the rest of the regular season? They're firmly in the 7th spot in the East at the moment.
Let's continue to play hard. Continue to play hard. We all knew that next year was supposed to be the year that they were going to be measured off of, and with the return of KD. I think the most important thing here is, as much as Kyrie didn't want to have surgery, he doesn't want this to continue to nag. You know, surgeries are something serious. Shoulders are something serious. You don't want this to continue to nag. Like I said, KD is getting better. Hopefully this won't be something that keeps him down too long, but he'll be ready to go for next year. And everyone's excited to see what the Nets are about next year. But they play hard. They're going to continue to play hard, and that's what you love about the team outside of their superstars being hurt.
Well, they have clarity now. They know that there's nobody coming back. KD earlier this week came out. Not that there was much of a chance, but KD came out and said, hey, I'm not coming back. They know that this is going to be their group. They're going to be able to play this way. And I also think this is going to be a bit of a showcase because there's a little bit of stuff out there at the trade deadline that Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert could be available. And it could have been a little bit of a, just put it out there in the water. Because when I talk to executives, they think if you're the Nets, you're going to look for a third star.
Right.
And can they use Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, some part of those guys to trade for that type of player? That may be a big move that they would look at this summer. So it's be a great opportunity for them to showcase those guys and those guys to have great playoffs to set it up.
Matt, do you think that it's an audition,
1,000.
whether it's for someone else or for them?
1,000%. You know, like I said, I think they knew, regardless, they had a kind of a ceiling this year. Maybe a gift and a curse. Kyrie being done, like Brian said, for the year, and now you're going to get to see who's out there. I'm sure they're going to get some trade. You know, during the summertime, they're going to get some offers. And like you said, if you can package someone up and get that consistent third star, if you don't feel like Dinwiddie or LeVert is that, this is the perfect time for these guys to show. And then they're going to be battle tested. You know, if this is the core they go to the playoffs with, and they have to do it on the biggest stage, you're going to know these guys are ready for
And
whatever.
as last night showed, they could put the scare into somebody.
Oh, they play
Yeah.
hard.
Now, they won't
Oh, yeah.
be the
They play
favorite,
hard.
Right.
but they could scare somebody. in
Love
the
how
first
hard they
Yeah,
play.
I think the East next year is going to be fascinating because you have 7 teams that are pretty much locked in, and then the 8th spot will kind of be up for grabs. So it's no longer just the JV, I feel like,
no,
anymore
absolutely
moving
not.
forward. All right, coming up after the break, we'll talk more Trae Young. Not only did he bring the heat against Miami, but he had some spicy words for Jimmy Butler. But first, here's D-Wade's rap debut on his track with Rick Ross. Take a listen.
You know, my last season, man, you know, it was just about doing it for the city of Miami. It's for the culture.
With 2, Wade puts it up for the win. Yeah, baby!
Ball is my passion. Check the stats that they ask me. 3 rings on his finger. Yeah, that boy was a winner.
The Miami Heat have won the NBA title.
To the season ticket holders.
Hey, listen, we put on for the city 16 years, 5 finals, 3 rings. We put those trophies over our head. We put on for the...
Nichols, joined by Brian Windhorst and Matt Barnes. We just ran my essay on Wade, so let's stick to the Heat here. Team president Pat Riley thinks the media is down on his squad, but the Godfather wants his team to know that they can win it all this year. Here's what he told Ira Winderman of the Sun Sentinel. Quote, I haven't heard it from anybody out there. Nobody believes that we can win a championship, the media. And I don't think many of them even believe that we're going to finish high. And I believe our players have more of a belief in what we can do than they do. It's not to use that as motivation, but that's just a reality. Brian, what do you make of Riley's comments?
What is he talking about?
I'm with you.
The Heat, especially at ESPN, we've been on a Heat binge for months now. We've had multiple things, you know, praising how this team has been structured, and we've talked about how
I flew down there with Rachel and Perk.
And we thought the Iguodala trade potentially could make them a challenger to win the East. But I will say this though, what is reality is that they are 11-12 in their last 23 games.
Mm-hmm.
They have slid back to the Sixers. The Sixers are now right on top of them for home court advantage. And by the way, you know, we talk about how the Sixers are a home road kind of Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
The Heat are 22-3 at home, and they are 13-17 on the road. I mean, it's not terrible, but it is a problem. They need home court, just like the Sixers do, and their defense has struggled. Now, they have had some injuries for sure. They are missing several key players. That said, they've got to pick it up, regardless of what game Pat wants to play in the media. And Eric Spoelstra knows that. He was extremely disappointed in their loss last night in in Atlanta. They totally let that game fall through their fingers, even though Bam Adebayo played great. And the Heat have to worry about their own selves right now besides perception.
Matt, let me ask you this. As far as adding some of those new pieces, Crowder, Iguodala, veteran-type guys, but my guess is that will take a little while to get some chemistry there, right?
You know, it'll take a couple weeks, but those are both smart veteran guys. You know, Iguodala's experience on and off the court is really going to help that team, and it's just going to take a couple weeks. But they're definitely going to be a scary out regardless what their seeding is. Like you said, playoffs is a whole other monster, and they have experience now, mixed with a great group of young guys. So whether they can win it all or not, Pat Riley's supposed to say that. They're supposed to believe that, but we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But they're going to be a tough out regardless.
Yeah, I think, Brian, to me, going into the season, if they were a second-round team, I thought that was a big step considering where they were. I mean, could they...
Even if they got second round now, I'd be really happy with their season.
Yeah. I mean, look, they'd need a lot of luck, I think, to get in anything beyond that. Is that fair to say?
I think one of the things that they have developing right now is their defense is struggling, and they are the premium three-point shooting team in the league. Like almost nobody does it better. When they put out their best defensive players, their shooting goes down. When they put out their best shooters, their defense goes down. So finding Andre Iguodala, frankly, is not a good three-point shooter. Now he could all of a sudden go up. But that is a big challenge for Eric Spoelstra coming down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, Jay Crowder came in, wasn't shooting the three ball very well, like under 30%, if I recall correctly. And then his first week on the team, he shot 60% from three. That wasn't necessarily what you can expect moving forward, but he's played pretty well for them at this point, at least. All right, let's check out who was in the zone, brought to you by AutoZone, and none other than Trae Young.
He was, man.
Man, he was in the zone last night, dropping a career-high 50 points in a win over Miami. This was a bit of a revenge game for Trae as he suffered a bit of an embarrassing loss to the Heat back on December 10th. Young proclaimed, quote, game over late in the fourth quarter of that game, just before the Heat rallied to win in overtime. Jimmy Butler posted a clip to Instagram with the caption, "This man at Trae Young is a teller of the future." He was right. Game was over. So after the 50-piece last night, Trae Young remembered that and tweeted this. And FYI at Jimmy Butler was right. I can see the future. I saw tonight happening a while ago. Hashtag, and I don't even like Twitter beefs, but. So, Matt, do you think Trae will live to regret this one with Jimmy?
No, not at all. I think it's all fun and games. I think the fans love it. The crowd loves it. We're talking about it now. But he's a special talent.
Oh, yeah.
And Jimmy's always going to remember that. So that's going to be brought up when something happens down the line. But I don't think it's, it wasn't anything that's derogatory or vicious. They're just having fun. But Trae Young has a lot of confidence coming out of the All-Star game. Like we spoke yesterday when Brian said it was big for Embiid to get that confidence in the All-Star game. Trae Young is playing with the same type of confidence. First time All-Star voted him in. People doubted him. He's coming out and letting people know they made a mistake for doubting him being a starter.
Jimmy was not good in the second half of that game last night. And it was really, both those games were actually similar because I thought the Heat had that game won last night. They just totally let it go. I thought the Hawks had that game won in Miami. Again, Miami is very different home and road. I would love the Heat and the Hawks to become rivals in that division going forward. I would love this to be the foundation of something bigger.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting with Trae, though. We have that stat real plus minus here at ESPN, and he's like at the top of the list on offense. He's first, and he's at the bottom of the list on defense among 490 players this season. We've never seen a gap like this.
Tough.
Yeah, people used to say that this was a problem with Steph Curry, that he was all offense and no defense. But actually, Steph is a significantly better defender, and he's got better size than Trae. I mean, one of the challenges when you have building around Trae Young is when you think about what players to bring into that team, you're going to have the other guard be a defender. And you're not going to be able to have any other undersized players at any other position because you become a matchup problem. You can win with a player like that. There have been plenty of Hall of Famers who didn't play defense.
Right.
But this does challenge both how you build the team and the strategy that you have in individual games.
Matt, could he be your best player?
He could be your best offensive player. Going into the playoffs, size matters.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some small guys do it. The Allen Iversons. Steph Curry's not huge, but they've been able to do it. But like you said, you're gonna need a 2 and D guy instead of a 3 and D guy to play alongside of him to take all those matchups. That's why, Clay is so underrated too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because although Steph does play defense, Clay takes that best player every single night. They need someone like that that can still shoot the ball, but also take the best wing player, and they don't have
Trae
that.
hasn't played in too many consequential games, but the first time he does, in the fourth quarter,
they're targeting him.
Hunting.
Oh yeah, they're going to
every
find him
possession,
every single day.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what they're hoping DeAndre Hunter turns into, right? Like he becomes the guy who's the defensive specialist.
That's why they went to move up to get him.
Yeah, for sure. All right, coming up, Russell Westbrook got tossed from last night's game against the Warriors, and now he has 13 techs on the season. Is he in jeopardy of a suspension? Stick around for that. But first, here's what the Jump recommends for today. Me, I got a piece up on ESPN.com and the ESPN app about how the Heat found their icon in Dwayne Wade. As someone who grew up in Miami, I witnessed it firsthand and the impact that he had on that community. Check it out during the break.
You're like Kawhi wearing your own jersey.
There you go.
Self-promotion.
Promote yourself.